At this time, I will call on Greg Williams, our General Manager and Executive Vice President, to give the manager's report.
Thank you, Dale, and good morning. Thank you all so much for coming out. Let me add my welcome to the 78th annual meeting of Appalachian Electric Cooperative. It's a good day, and I so appreciate you being here. I'm going to take just a moment to recognize our employees, and obviously they're in blue shirts all over the place, and if you would join me in just thanking them for their service. So I've had the pleasure of talking to several of you this morning, and really this is the part that I just enjoy so much. Just greeting and meeting and seeing you once again. I know we only get together like once a year, but I treasure those times when we can just get together and be here. But thank you for coming out and supporting your co-op. You know, I think we can just go ahead and say it. Co-op folks are some of the best folks around. Wouldn't you say so? I think so. So thank you for being here. I hope you realize that your co-op is much more than just an electric utility. AEC is a fundamental part of the communities we serve in ways that almost no other entity is. We didn't come into East Tennessee from outside with a plan to make things better around here. AEC was built by and for the people we serve. We are truly a universal and uniting element in the lives of our members. This co-op is a part of the very fabric of our community. You might even say that our DNA can be found in the farms, the schools, the homes, the churches, and the businesses around here. Even though our membership has changed over time, growing both in size, now approaching 47,000, and diversity, the fact is when we look at our co-op, we're really looking at ourselves. Communities are not defined by boundaries on a map, but rather by common experiences and shared values. Neighbors, helping neighbors, compassion for others, celebrating together when times are good, and supporting each other when times are tough. Working hard not just for ourselves, but for the greater good of those around us. Communities are built on and nurtured by lasting relationships that are based on mutual trust. I want to talk to you this morning about those relationships. First, there's the relationship we share with other co-ops and our strategic partners. Since we met this time last year, AEC crews have been sent on 4 different occasions to help restore power to members of sister co-ops in Georgia, Virginia, and Kentucky. We didn't get to go to North Carolina or South Carolina because we were afraid Hurricane Florence was actually going to hit us as a part of the storm. When severe storm damage does occur, though, and people are left in the dark for days, co-ops are there for each other. If our service area was impacted by a big ice storm or a tornado, and we've been there, we would be flooded with offers of help from co-ops all over our state and our region. The reciprocal relationship we share with other co-ops is a solemn promise that no co-op recovers from a natural disaster on its own. In addition, we share information and best practices with other co-ops. We collaborate in researching and developing new technologies, and we rely on our mutual efforts to keep the electric grid secure. Strategic partnerships with local governments, our power supplier, TVA, economic development and governmental agencies, and our state and national associations are key to the economic health and long-term vitality of our community. Your co-op played a key role in helping to bring Oshkosh Defense to the former John Deere facility in Jefferson City. That means 350 to 500 new jobs, a $30 million capital investment, and yes, strong electricity sales. Instead of a warehouse, we'll have a manufacturing load with a steady demand for more kilowatt hours. AEC's engineering team has worked tirelessly to meet the company's timelines, which call for production to begin as early as January the 2nd. Another example is Nearstar Mines. They continue to add electrical load underground at the local zinc mining operations. And we're also seeing increased activity in new home construction and in the development of subdivisions. In fact, right now we have added 500 new accounts since this time last year. Now, folks, this is the best that we have grown since the recession hit, 10 years ago. So things are looking better. I'd like to share with you an interesting example of how AEC's Board of Directors looked beyond the boundaries of our service area to provide a boost to our region's economy. We were in a unique position to be able to facilitate a $2 million interest-free loan from the USDA that assisted Iatric Manufacturing Solutions in renovating and expanding a shuttered facility in Morristown and bringing with them over 300 jobs. Our board quickly realized that even though we would not serve this new manufacturing operation with electricity, we would benefit in other ways. Their visionary approach was based on the realization that many of the people who would be hired for these new positions would likely live on AEC's system. Case in point, Iatric's new plant manager makes his home in Dandridge. The second type of relationship that AEC works very intentionally to build is the one we share with state and federal legislators. Along with other co-op employees here today, I'm wearing a button that says Co-ops Vote. This references a nonpartisan initiative on the part of our National Association that is designed to boost the political power of electric cooperatives through voter engagement. The idea is to increase voter turnout in areas served by co-ops, demonstrating the power of that voting bloc and emphasizing its importance to lawmakers. Every election year, and 2018 is no exception, issues that matter to the folks we serve come before our elected representatives, both in Nashville and in Washington, D.C. Because those issues get more attention and they get more support when lawmakers are educated and engaged, we are diligent about reaching out to connect with elected officials. And we work hand in hand with TECA to do that. We brief them on issues that have the potential to affect AEC and its members. We try to gain their support for legislations that benefit the co-op, but we also encourage their opposition to bills that may negatively impact the co-op. I would urge each of you to get registered to vote. Actually, the deadline is October the 9th, if you haven't already. And then show up to exercise your right to make your voice heard at the ballot box. We are truly stronger together. Finally, the most important relationship we have or ever will have is with our members. It's with you. Providing you with the kind of service and reliability that you have come to expect is our reason for being. In fact, it's our only reason for being. In order to provide that service and reliability, however, rate increases are necessary from time to time, and this is one of those times. Last year, we found ourselves in a favorable financial position that allowed us to actually defer a rate increase for your co-op. Though we are firmly committed to holding rates as steady as possible, this year we had to face the fact that a very modest 0.4% increase would be necessary. Consequently, the average monthly residential electric bill will increase by 50 cents Well, you see there, 2 quarters, as a result of the rate increase. Now, this is your co-op's part. This is for operating your co-op. The TVA portion, and there are several components of this, resulted in about a 1.8% or $2.50 added to this. That brings the total impact to about $3 per month on the average residential electric bill. Now, you can believe me when I say that I don't like rate increases any more than you do. And I am aware, and your board is aware, that even a very small increase can result in financial stress on some folks. But I do support, and Amy mentioned this earlier, I do support TVA's long-range plans to stabilize wholesale rates in the future by tackling their debt challenges now. TVA's got some debt challenges, and it's causing some stress. We need to get that debt paid down. And I want you to know that I take my advocacy role very seriously. As recently as last month, I spoke to the TVA board on your behalf, urging them passionately to be mindful of the bill impacts associated with rate increases. This is something I take very seriously, and I take it to the TVA board. But for every time I must stand before you and announce a rate increase, there are many, many more times that I'm blessed to be able to share good news. So now for some of the best news I could possibly bring you. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I can state that AEC is in the process of preparing a plan to bring broadband service to our service area. Although the specific model, that what I call the mechanics of it, are still yet to be determined, our directors are working long hours and extra call meetings to determine the best path forward. We just had a meeting this past week. We have another special call meeting this month, the next month in October. This is front and center in front of your board of directors. There are pros and cons to each option under consideration, but I can assure you that our goal is to keep pricing and services very competitive and to offer broadband access to every AEC member. Your needs and experiences are so important to us as we undertake this endeavor that earlier this summer we actually had a special survey, a market study, to really assess your level of interest in obtaining this service. This was an extra step simply because we wanted to listen. We wanted to learn from each other. That is what makes our relationship stronger. For those of you who may struggle with the amount of time it's taken to get to this point, and I know it has, I'd like you to know that for a decision of this magnitude, and this is a very big decision, we're talking very large numbers, an enormous amount of research has been necessary to make certain that we're acting in the best long-term interest of the cooperative and our members. From the very beginning that we started these discussions, we decided that we would not do this unless we could do it right. We cannot shirk our responsibility to be good stewards of our members' money. Our core mission could not be compromised. No matter what, you must still be able to depend upon us to keep the lights on. But the decision to build out our fiber optic network to enhance the electric system quickly dovetailed into looking at broadband service, which represents an opportunity that simply could not be ignored. The co-op can use its infrastructure and expertise to bring you and your neighbors what has become today an essential service. From education to healthcare to economic development, broadband will transform our service area. And that's a venture that we want to be a part of. And we would implement broadband service with the same integrity that you have come to expect from us over the last 78 years since AEC was first established. Our relationship with those we serve will continue to be based on a trust that we will never stop striving to earn. We remember our proud heritage. We know where we came from. We cherish our autonomy, and we pledge to stay relevant in the lives of our members. Please remember this. Please remember, we are led by folks just like you. Community members who are proud, very proud to call this place home. We don't just serve a community. We belong to the community we serve. Thank you. Have a great day.